Anyway, I wanted to introduce this motion. There was a resolution on July the 8th at the regular council meeting that the Councillor of Love, Councillor Affleck, suggested that there be some consultation with the Park Board, business improvement associations and residents to find a permanent home for lovelocks in the city of Vancouver and report back to council. And whereas lovelocks are traditional padlocks that are attached to fences or railings by people to symbolize their commitment to each other, and whereas spontaneous, quirky activities are part of what makes Vancouver a great place to live, whereas the first lovelocks in Vancouver were attached to the railings of the Burrard Bridge but were removed in 2013, and whereas lovelocks have reappeared on the seawall in the North Falls Creek where they've also been removed, and whereas removing lovelocks reinforces Vancouver's image as a no-fun city, and that a city is not just a collection of buildings and infrastructure. So the resolution is that, and this is really because if you look at Vancouver, it's most appropriate, I think, that any kind of display like this is probably more appropriate along our waterfront or in our parks where people like to congregate. I have a few ideas on that, but therefore be it resolved that Park Board Commissioners direct staff to suggest possible locations for a permanent, structurally safe home for lovelocks on Park Board property and report back to the board. And once staff have reported back on possible locations for a permanent, structurally safe home for lovelocks on Park Board property, that the Park Board engage in the public in a consultation process to determine the preferred, most favorable, and most feasible location to serve as a permanent home for lovelocks.
Any questions for Colin on this motion? Commissioner Sharp?
Question, you said that you identified a couple, or you have some ideas, I'm just curious.
Yeah, I've had a few people have suggested some ideas. One is around the Cactus Club in English Bay. There's a stainless steel wall fence there that could be strong enough. They may require some modifications. One of the ideas that I thought is somewhere up on Queen Elizabeth Park, because that was traditionally a spot where people would go and sit and look over the city. That might be a nice spot. There's lots of spots around the city, so I think the public can come forward. I think the staff probably has some ideas. The main thing is you have to make sure it's in something that's structurally safe. I know there was not a bridge in Paris, and I think the whole piece came down, so it's got to be strong enough to hold the weight.
So, with all that, all those in favor of the motion before us? Motion passes unanimously.